I want to talk today about sex drive, desire, and just the discovery of something new within that. And because I've been personally experiencing this shift in my own personal sexuality as it is experienced by myself, not with my partner, but by myself, which there's a big distinction there. And I'll speak more to it. Um, and I can't help but just keep questioning, why don't I want to be in my body, have these pleasure practices, be with myself sexually the way that I used to? And of course, I'm like, well, maybe I'm just kind of lazy because I'm satisfied with my partner. So w- don't get greedy kind of thoughts. Maybe it's my body physiologically changing hormonally. I'm 46. Things of that nature could be happening. And, or I don't know, maybe I just am not that person anymore. And that thought right there, maybe I'm not that person anymore, is sort of a little sticky for me. I didn't realize just how identified I've been with this person who talks about sex. I mean, it's the field that I've been in for 20 years, having a lingerie store and selling sex toys. Like, I've been in this conversation for a long time. I've been encouraging women to be in their bodies for my career. And so there's this, like I said, there's just this tension around, if I'm not doing that myself, and if I'm who am I? Like, what's happening here? And there's so much mental energy happening around it. I feel like, I had this visual the other day where there's this stream and the water's flowing, but there's this rock. Like, this rock is just right in the center, and things just keep bumping up against it, bumping up against it. And slowly they're trying to flow around. Poppy, is that you, as in my dad? Is that my dad? If that's you, please say hi, so that because I don't know if you want to be a part of this conversation, but I love you. Thank you for being here. If it's not you, Poppy, I love you. And that's what we call my dad. So that's nice. Um, but anyway, I keep seeing these parts of me just hit. I'm like, why isn't there a flow here? Where's the flow? And how can I get past it? And the more that I sat with it, the more I thought, wait, what if all this stuff just is? Like, maybe it's okay that I'm not in the mood for that, or that's not a part of who I am anymore, and that's not a part of my life. Because a major thing that happened a few years ago when I started to develop more of a spiritual relationship with my higher power, I can honestly tell you, a lot of the conversations I was having before in my work, online, with friends about that part of my life, I actually was like, wait, this does not feel in alignment with almost my essence and my integrity of who I want to be. And it left me sort of like, well, then what do I talk about? And who am I? And what's next? And there was just sort of this period of time where I felt kind of like I was floundering, like I didn't know who I was. And it's not to say that that's the only conversation I ever have, or that's all that I am, but it's been a big part of my personality. So in this day to day, and this experience I'm having as I'm changing and aging, I have just been like, what if I don't ever go back to that person? What if I don't ever get that feeling back? And I think a lot of women in midlife have this fear because there's also been just a lot of information put out into, not just, I would just say, we have been taught that once we hit menopause, that drive is gone. We no longer have it. And I don't believe that's true. All the women I'm hearing from over 50 are actually feeling more alive and in their arrows than they ever were. They're tapping into this part of themselves that they didn't know was there. And so I find that inspiring and encouraging because I believe it to be very true. Um, and so when I get into that fear state, I'm like, well, wait, that can't be. It's other people are having it. And there's this other part when I talk about desire, which is separate from a sex drive. For me personally, the more that I separate these two, the more clear I'm becoming on there is this feeling in me. This I've been waking up every morning like around 5:30, and I've been wanting to I call it beat the bird. There's this bird outside my window that starts chirping just as the sun's coming up. And it's like this little game I'm playing where I'm like, I want to be up before that bird is up. I want to be sitting at my table before I hear that bird. I want to be running and watching the sunrise. Like there's just this feeling I'm having inside, this pull. And I realized, oh my God, that's the desire. That's desire for like this life force that I think was being channeled in this other area of my life for so long that now it's shifting and my life is becoming fuller. And this desire that I'm feeling is like leading me more into these things that I love, like honestly, in the kitchen, cooking and baking and making nut milk. I can't explain it. Wanting to run more, learning French. Like my world is getting so much bigger. And I really do believe that it's connected. and and I think it's beautiful. And I think it's giving me this opportunity to just to like let go of questioning what might be wrong. Because what if nothing's wrong? What if these changes are just, first of all, very temporary because all things are, that they don't have to mean it's the end of something or the end of an identity or an end of an era, and that the energy just shifts, which is something I've heard about women in menopause also. Like, yes, our bodies are very different than when they were in our 20s and our reproductive stages, 100%. But it's not gone. That sexual desire is not gone. It's just learning to move and evolve with it in a different way. And I don't think a lot of people are talking about that. I think there's more information now about it, but that for me is what I'm like landing on, where it's this feeling of like, oh, it's not gone. It's just shifting. And it's shifting in other areas of my life. Like the channel is opening. Like that river I was talking about, like it's flowing more. And that rock that I was butting up against is like this old identity. And it's okay that it's not who I am anymore. And it's okay if maybe I am her. It's almost like the water levels are just rising and that's still there, but there's a flow going over it. And I can just feel this life force getting like just much bigger. Like I'm learning more about myself. And again, I don't know if any of this makes sense. I just wanted to come on because I know so many women, as we are in our late 40s, going into our 50s, really do start to struggle with like, what's going to happen sexually for me? Am I still going to desire this? Who am I going to be if I'm not this woman? And I don't think that we have to struggle with that. I think when we stop struggling with it, like I love that saying, like if you either let go or you get dragged. And so like I'm like, I've been getting dragged by this for a little while. And the minute I let go, it was like, oh, look at all the other areas of life that are turning you on right now. Like I am so turned on. Like I said, like seeing the sunrise, spending time laughing with my friends, making nut milk. Why I keep coming back to that, I don't know. But there is just like this bigger part of Eros that is surrounding us that if we tap into it, I don't think we'll live in the scarcity and fear of like, oh, things won't be that way anymore. I won't feel this way anymore. Something's gone wrong and it's never going to be the same. I just can't buy it. I don't know what y'all think. I would love to know what you think. And I would love to like, if you'd be happy to send me some questions or comments about it, of what you're experiencing. Cause I think the more we share this with others, the better, right? That's all I'm going to say to that right now. I also want to say, I sent an email recently talking about how I'm not going to be writing on Substack anymore. And though that is true, my podcast is on here. So I was like, oh, I'm not off Substack entirely. And I've been invited to do lives recently. And so I am going to stay on here for that. So if any of you are confused, like, what are you doing on here? That's what I'm doing on here. And speaking of lives, I am going live on Friday with Allison from Dare to Be. And we are going to talk about being spiritual seekers, She saw my podcast that I did a few years ago called Sluts for Self Help. And I think it'll be fun. We're both in sobriety and we're both always, like a lot of us, just like more self help. How much better can I be? And this, but just like hit the brakes. Like, what if we're just going to be like, stop seeking? It's all this optimization. I'm very excited to speak with her. And I'll probably, I think it's the time is already, you'll get a notification. So you don't have to worry about that. But those are my updates as far as like why I'm here and what's to come. But other than that, this was my first live. Thank you, Sarah, Amanda, Poppy, and AGM for joining. Not sure if this is going to go out to the masses because I don't know how I feel about it. I don't even know if I can watch it, but glad that you're here. Thank you. Have a great day.